Emily Bergman, and I'm the AJL liaison to ALA. Thank you for joining us today. Before we introduce our guest, Tamika Barnes, let me tell you a little bit about about AJL. In 1946, the Jewish Librarians Association was founded and composed of academic, archival, and research institutions. The Jewish Library Association, founded in 1962, emphasized work in synagogue, school, and community center libraries. These two associations merged in 1966 as the Association of Jewish Libraries. In 2010, AJL became an affiliate of the American Library Association and is currently one of its 7 ethnic affiliates. Today, AJL is a leading authority on Judaic librarianship and a vibrant, volunteer-run, nonprofit, professional organization that fosters access to information and research in all forms of media relating to all things Jewish. The association promotes Jewish literacy and scholarship and provides a community for peer support and professional development. For more information on becoming a member, please visit our website at jewishlibraries.org. I'm also involved in the Jewish Information Committee of the Ethnic and Multicultural Information Exchange Roundtable. And actually, the current chair of that Jewish Information Committee has joined us, Sally Stiglitz. If you are a member of ALA, I hope you'll join eMerit and work with me to provide more connections between AJL and ALA. Back in the days of the ALA Midwinter Conference, I would meet the president-elect candidates and invite them to our schmooze and nosh. Now that there's no ALA conference in January, I've not had a chance to meet the candidates, so I am meeting them here for the first time, just like you. Now I am pleased to introduce you to Tamika Barnes, Associate Dean, Perimeter College Library Services, Georgia State University. Tamika Barnes currently serves as the Georgia Library Association President-elect 2025 and will assume the role of President in 2026. Barnes serves on the GLA Executive Board from 2013 to 2021. Barnes served on the ALA Executive Board from 2018 to 2021 and ALA Council from 2015 to 2018 and 2019 to 2021. She is a member of the Association of College and Research Libraries and the Black Caucus of ALA. Barnes has served on numerous ALA committees and groups, including Budget and Review Committee, 2 ALA Presidential Advisory Committees, and the ACRL Conference Experience and Inclusions Committee. Barnes is a Spectrum Scholar. Tamika received several honors, including the GLA Bob Richardson Award and the Black Caucus of ALA Library Advocacy Award. She's also recognized as the Library Senior Fellow at the University of California, Los Angeles, and a Leading Change Institute Fellow. I just want to say, I know that Tamika's been very involved in what I call BCALA, and they are an affiliate just like AJL. So I work very closely with BCALA folks. Tamika holds a BA in biology from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and an MLS from North Carolina Central University in Durham. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, how did you decide to become a librarian?
Well, actually, it started. So, as it said, I received my biology degree from the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill, and initially, I thought I was going to be a doctor. Come junior year in organic chemistry, kind of changed that path. And so, as I was trying to decide what I wanted to do, I started working in libraries. And so from there, I was encouraged by the department head at the time, and I was working in acquisitions, and she encouraged me to apply for library school. And I was like, you need a degree? Like, I was one of those. I didn't know. And so I looked into it and decided that that was a path that I felt like I could do because I've always been one to want to help people and be in a profession that help. That's originally how the doctor piece came. And so and from that moment on, it's just been straightforward and had to explain a lot to a lot of people about what librarianship is. So that's how I got involved.
That's really interesting. I was going to be a rabbi. It didn't happen either. So we've come, different ways into the same
Different
place.
paths. Yes.
Why are you running for ALA president?
Some days I ask that myself that too, with all that's going on, to be honest. But no, but really, why I wanted to do it is it's like that next level, as you mentioned. I've been involved with the association and at different levels for a number of years. Actually, I've been involved with ALA since I was in library school, and just wanted to always be in a position where I could advocate for change and also give back to the profession that's, and especially ALA, that's given me so many different opportunities. As you mentioned, I was a spectrum scholar, which was and part of that first cohort, so which was a big deal, and I didn't realize how much that was on the back end to even get that established. Um, and so felt like it's always kind of been a calling or my mission to continue that advocacy work for underrepresented libraries, librarians. And so I feel like, and with some nudging of some colleagues, I feel like that this was the time, and especially since I have a 10-year old, and he has been to conferences with me, and he was the icing on the cake for me to decide to do it when he was like, Mom, it's time for you to continue doing some things for you. And I realize that, and I know it may be some times where you're not around, but I'm okay. And so, with his blessing, I continue this journey to be elected.
What is your vision for ALA?
So many things. My vision, which I know that I cannot complete within 1 year, but I hope to be able to be a part of the conversations where we are kind of turning the table a little bit. Our finances, as many of you have known, have been a topic of conversation. I want to, I see a vision for us to get on that right path, on that positive path, to right size that ship. And then also, as one of the things that you mentioned to me, and just kind of when we were communicating back and forth to set this up as a place for everyone to feel like they belong and are welcomed in the association. So those are like my big thing. We gotta have the finances to continue the association. But once we do, we need to make sure that we have structure and things in place so that people can feel welcome and a part and want to contribute to the association.
What do you bring to ALA that is unique and will help move it forward?
I would say that what I bring is the fact that I have, like I said, been involved with ALA from being a student member to participating on the being elected to the executive board for ALA. And during a time where we had like the most diverse ethnic uh, group for the board in the history of ALA. And so that was a unique opportunity, and during that time to really be able to have the voice for social justice and DEI. And so having that experience, I also have been through the experience of the trials and things with looking at when we were selling our building. And so I've been through some pretty challenging times with ALA. And I feel like that has only made me stronger in trying to figure out to make sure that we have the right communication that we send out to the membership to move things forward.
Thank you. Where do you see an ALA affiliate like the Association of Jewish Libraries and its members within the broader landscape of ALA? Knowing that you've been involved in BCALA, uh, we're sort of in the same boat. And when I talk to the president of BCALA, we have a lot of the same issues.
I know, and it's it's so things. Because what I also realize and know is that what we see is a lot of times members of the affiliates might not be members of ALA with the
Right.
challenges and not, um, and so I see my role much like I done initially when I first found out that I was nominated, is listening to the affiliates. And I would like to put some structure in place. I know, is it midwinter or is it annual? You have what, the one affiliates lunch?
Mhm.
And, but I feel like it needs to be more than that one time, that there's conversations, and that it needs to be two-way. Not just report out what we're doing and sharing, which is important, but I think there needs to be more opportunities for there to be a conversation so that it's not brought up and then it's another year later, with changing of membership and leadership and feeling like we're starting over every time with trying to address some issues. I also feel like with the affiliates, how I see my role is that making sure that I have that communication with the executive director, Dan Montgomery, for that structural piece. I know there are things as far as like when events are happening and things like that, like being that bridge, because I feel like there's gaps in communication. Like we have these issues, we know about it, but then does it get to the staff to then think about and rethink how they're planning for or when they decide to have events and things like that? So I feel like that's one of the things that I would like to do with Alia. With all the affiliates, I've also spoken with like Apollo, and just so that finding a way to structure that. Look, the executive board meets so much. I feel like there's a way to carve out a time that we actually have that conversation directly with affiliates and the executive board so that it's not just at a luncheon and that more people can hear the conversation and what needs to be discussed.
There is now an affiliates committee, and we meet once a month on Zoom.
On Zoom? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so does the, just by chance, hadn't been in the president's role, does the president come to that?
No,
Okay.
just to the lunch
Just to the
at
lunch.
annual. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I think that's, that's nice structure there, but I think there's some improvement that we can um, enhance.
yeah. I know that Sam has been very interested and involved, but she just can't make the meetings.
Yeah. Sam's schedule has been extremely busy.
Right.
Yeah. But I feel like between having, I mean, we have the president elect, the president, and the past president. And I feel like working together between the three, we should be able to do something to try to at least make one.
It's great. Through the years, AJO members have experienced direct anti Semitic remarks, ALA events scheduled on major holidays, which is actually happening this year when PLA meets on Passover. Repeated petitions to, actually not just us, but they're also meeting Good Friday. So I've been in contact with my CLA
Mm-hmm.
cohort.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to know that this is happening, that they had to know the calendar and yet continue to choose to schedule on
Mm-hmm.
both a significant holiday for you and for us. But it's not the first time and not even the third time. Repeated petitions to boycott Israel and Israeli libraries and cultural organizations, personal anti Semitic verbal attacks, and the active promotion of a Palestinian author who has publicly called for killing of all Jews. Many Jews do not feel safe in ALA, and they don't feel that ALA is a welcoming space for them. What are some things you will do as an ALA leader to help change that, especially given that ALA needs to keep and even grow its membership?
Yeah, that's major. Um, very disheartening to hear, especially hearing that when I read your initial email, as far as this isn't the first time and the repeated things. And this is another case where I feel like there needs to be some education and some communication with who is scheduling our events. Um, because I know with PLA, I'm, an ACRL person, but I know with PLA, like each of these divisions and ALA have different people who plan our conferences. And I think that this is definitely one of those things, especially now it's happening during Passover and Good Friday, which I didn't even put the two together since I wasn't attending PLA. So thank you for bringing that um, to my attention. I think this is where I would need to have really a serious conversation with Dan, um, the executive director, because as we know, especially with our current environment and what is going on, like ALA needs to take these actions, these comments serious, um, and provide opportunities and provide a safe space for the members. And so I feel like there needs to be some actionable items, uh, actions like I said, the education and the speaking directly with those who are scheduling these events, because as you and I know, they get scheduled years in advance. And also calendars and holidays are the information's on there. So there's ways to look. It's not like, well, I didn't know uh, Passover was going to be at this on this date. So I think there's a little bit more attention that needs to be made to that. And like I said, that's on that staffing side with that, and so that's why it would be really key to make sure that Dan understands this and realizes the effect that it has on our members. Um, so that since he's the leader of the staff, to make sure that those things happen. And then also for there to be, you know, not just, hey, Dan, we need to have a conversation, but for me to like follow up and see what actions are being taken as far as like events are concerned. And then also being mindful of who we invite. I know especially when there's anyone involved on like a political spectrum, then that tends, but this goes beyond like having an opinion. This goes beyond having ideology. Like now we are really causing harm and discomfort to our members. And I feel like there are a number of people out there in the world who we can invite to our conferences where we do not have to have someone who is anti Semitism, right? Or anti any of the people who we have as far as our members. And so I will also, during the Q&A, just ask like all of you kind of like what specific things that you feel like needs to be put in place to assist that, to make sure that it doesn't happen as well. Because what we don't want is for members to be part of it and then don't want to participate in our events or committees or things like that. So what's the point in them being members? And then they won't be anymore. That just goes back to that belonging piece of it.
It's a concern of mine as ALA membership has dropped that I know a large cohort of people who will not belong to ALA because of what's
Mm-hmm.
happened over the
And
years.
I know for, kind of different, but there's a cohort of people who from Black Caucus who will not join ALA because they don't feel welcome or appreciated or that their ideas and views are valued. And so it seems to be, I mean, that's a huge issue if our affiliates don't want to be involved with ALA.
So we're open for questions, and since there's just the three members, well, four here, I would just, and I know you all, I would just open it up and let you ask your question and not have to put it in the Q&A. Go ahead, Sally.
Oh,
Thank
yes, please. Let's have a conversation.
you. So my experience has been, for instance, on ALA Connect, if I contact the moderator and say this is anti-Semitic,
Mm-hmm.
it gets somebody else, the moderator, who's not Jewish, decides it's not. And I just don't understand why Jews can't be the ones to decide what anti-Semitism is, and we have to have somebody else who doesn't have our lived experience tell us it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Mm-hmm.
kind of is pervasive throughout the organization, but I'm just using that as an example. I know you don't really have an immediate answer for that, but I kind of
Yeah.
would like to see Jews involved in deciding what is anti-Semitism, or possibly people could just believe us if we say it, because we're not saying it for the heck of it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's actually very difficult and painful to make those complaints. And you lose friends and you feel you lose sleep. I don't like making those complaints. So a lot of them get slide away, and others I raise my voice.
Mm-hmm.
There was an ALA resolution, and I was on council at the time, that anti-Israel was not anti-Semitic.
Oh.
And so I got up and said, "You don't get to tell me what's what is not anti-Semitic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The persecuted doesn't get to tell what's not persecution." So what Sally said has come up, telling me at a council meeting that what I feel isn't real.
Real. Mm-hmm.
So it's not, I just want to share with Sally, it's not just Connect, it's also council meetings.
It's everywhere,
It,
over and over. In
it's in
fact,
other parts of ALA as well. Yeah, I've experienced it a lot.
yeah, you have, Susan. And the thing is, not that long ago, I brought up a complaint within a roundtable about an anti-Semitic experience.
Yeah.
Not only was bringing that up considered worse than, being anti-Semitic, but the whole conversation, we had to keep having meetings, came down to feelings. And I had to say, this is not a feeling, and it just, Nobody seems to understand where we're coming from.
Mhm. Mhm. I'm just making notes as far as like,
I appreciate it, and
the-
we don't mean to pile on, but
no, no,
we
no.
don't have an ear often.
Yeah.
To hear what we have to say. I know Susan had a ton of experiences.
Yeah. Oh, and I don't consider this Apollon at all. I feel like that's part of what I wanted to do with listening sessions is
Thank you.
give people a chance to let me know because our organization's huge and we don't all have the same experiences. And so it's important for me to hear about these experiences that are had. And one, I appreciate you still being involved, even.
It's more like despite. You don't want to make me feel comfortable. I'm staying. Sorry, I'm just like a little difficult that way.
No, well, but I know there's many who probably wouldn't take that approach.
Yeah, I know plenty of
Yeah,
people who just say I'm done and they leave.
yeah, yeah, and that's definitely not something that I would want from an association that I was leading. So thank you for sharing that. I was just making notes here as far as like who's the moderators and how's that like just the process. I need to
It's a
understand the
very
process.
nice man who's not Jewish and doesn't understand what we're saying. That's all I got to say. He's very polite in his emails. It's like if I'm holding up a phone, I'm saying, this is a phone. He's like, that's not a phone, that's an apple. It's
Right.
like, what can I do? It is an apple and it is a phone.
Yeah, not the same, but similar. I understand
Right.
people like things that are racial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So thank you.
So, Tamika, I realized that I had left off one of our questions. And I think it's something that we all can, you're in a good position because this has come up with the NALCO libraries. And it has to do with that AJL gets excluded from the other ethnic affiliates.
Mm,
And it's important that we all work together instead. And we have literally been told that we don't belong to the ethnic affiliates. It's just the affiliates of people of color. And so then they changed it from ethnic affiliates basically to NALCO. I think that's what it's called, right?
it is called
Librarians
that
of color.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are there ways that we can work more closely together? Because we feel that that's our closest relationship are with people like us, and we feel that that group is
Hmm.
most like us.
Hmm. Was that recent, Emily? That changed? It's
Um,
like one of those things where because I haven't been involved with that piece of it, like not understanding like the significance of it, I just saw it as a name change, to be honest.
yes. So, I mean,
So
I
I
don't
didn't
know.
realize that was like, yeah,
I don't want to say that I know what caused that to happen,
okay.
but I think three AJL presidents ago, so that makes it about 6 years ago,
Yeah.
maybe,
I thought
because
it was 5, 6 years, right?
Okay.
yeah, because we have 2-year presidential terms. And that particular president worked very hard to that we all be part of what was then called the ethnic affiliates. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when they changed the name. And they were worse than rude to her. It was very aggressive and unpleasant. Not everybody.
Yeah. Very good.
I was
Um,
at one of those meetings, Emily, where a very nice gentleman, high up in ALA and involved in the now closed, told us to go program with the Catholics. I don't know if you remember that. I'll
Oh,
tell you later who it was. The thing is,
Yeah.
we don't view ourselves as a religion particularly. We're an
Only as a
ethnicity,
religion. I am a
right?
Ethnically,
religion.
yes.
And
Yeah.
We're an
I do work
ethnic
with the
group
religious
with our
groups.
own religion.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
it
we're
is,
similar to Native Americans in that way than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
yes, absolutely, because we do have, when we say we're one religion, what I practice and what my daughter practice from the outside look completely different.
Yeah.
She's ultra Orthodox. And the other thing is, we do, most Israelis are people of color. If my husband, who is Israeli, walks behind me in a minute, which he won't, but he is quite dark
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
is considered, like, if you look at him ethnically, you're going to say, no, that's not a white person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard because we come in all shapes, sizes, colors from around the globe, but we're all united by this heritage,
Mm-hmm.
underlying heritage, not necessarily religious
Religion.
practice
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
or not even our food,
with the exception of converts, Jackie, who are still just Jews, same as anyone else,
right?
we're all Middle Eastern people. Some of us are in diaspora, and so
Mm-hmm.
we're more mixed. But others stayed in the Middle East, a big chunk, more than the majority of people in Israel, just people who stayed in the Middle East. And they are, have never left the Middle East.
Yeah.
And the rest of us who did leave the Middle East, it wasn't really under because by choice. You know, it was like slavery taken to Rome to build the Colosseum, and then we never left Europe,
Right.
you know, or people went to Spain, and that's the Spanish had a very big population until the Inquisition. But ethnically, we're all from this area. How do you pronounce it, Emily? Levant?
Yes.
Yeah, we're all from the Levant, which is not a very big area, and it's what you would call Israel today.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody really sees that. They just think like, you know, some people are Protestant, some people are Baptist, some people
Yeah.
are Congregational. That's not our thing.
Which again, here, Christianity. How many flavors of Christianity do we have?
Right. A
So,
lot.
Lots. A lot.
But I do want to say I have a very close relationship with the affiliate committee members from the Catholic Library Association and the Islamic Library. I was trying to think, get the letters right. Islamic Library Association, ILA, because we do have a lot in common. Just like,
Mm-hmm.
and in fact, we're doing a reception with them this summer.
Nice. I hope to come to that.
That would be great.
I always send invitations to
Okay.
leadership.
Now we've given you a PhD.
I know. I feel like there's so much I need to like
It's just
learn.
like people don't understand us, and I think that's a big problem. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we know who we are. It just
Right.
doesn't look like we know who we are because we know um, we just look European for the most part. Only people who don't think we're European are Europeans.
correct, as proved by
Susan
Hitler.
agrees.
Yes.
I see Susan's like, yes.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Ugh.
There's such a challenge, such a challenging time. But I did have a question, if y'all don't mind, just to help me. Um, as far as just kind of because I feel like there's some repair that needs to happen between ALA and AGL. And so just I kind of give some ideas and some things, but you all are in it and been leaders at AGL. Just kind of your ideas or what you would like to see to help rebuild that trust.
So I brought this same question to Sam way back,
Mm-hmm.
and she took me seriously, especially when I told her we're losing members, I think. And so I've had two members with Sam and Maria and the chair of the membership committee, but I'm afraid they asked me that same question and I don't have an answer to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an answer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should try to come up with something though, because if we're just going to talk about it,
Yeah, I
that's
would
just
like
magical
action.
thinking, right?
Yeah. and one reason why I am asking, like, because what I may think is helping may not be helpful or what is needed. So that's one of the reasons why I was asking, just so that there's like input from your group in what potential actions can take place.
So one of the things is programming. Um,
Mhm.
you know, I've lost count of how many programs we've submitted that have just been rejected, over and over and over. Um, like more than the average of how, you
The
know,
percentage.
a percentage that usually get rejected. Like the Jewish proposals seem to always be rejected. We have so both Sally and Emily has done extraordinary work on the Jewish Information Committee, and Sally is just stepping into that. But there have been programs in the Jewish Information Committee, but a lot of times we kind of have to do our own thing on the side as
Mm,
an affiliate because we can't get accepted into the main programming. That is really disheartening, and it's been going on as long as I've been involved in ALA, which is, I don't know, 20 years. So,
So JIC is trying to come back with programming. We had a, I don't want to say it was a pushback, but when you asked to submit a proposal 3 times and you don't get an answer, we complained.
mhm,
Now we're having a program. They're like, we had a lot of pushback, and then they said, "Oh, yes, you can do your program." So, sometimes complaining works. So, I mean, Erica's on this call, and she's involved with some of those conversations with me. So we will have JIC program, but I know we maybe need, Susan, maybe we need, you know, programs that we know we're going to have, and not be at the mercy of just the ordinary scorekeeping and people who either don't think it's interesting or don't want to stir the pot. I think they're afraid that Jewish programming is going to be political. It's really generally not.
mhm.
It's mostly about books. But it seems like some people think it's political because there was this list of Jewish authors going around the library world. You maybe didn't hear about this, but a list of Zionist authors. It was a spreadsheet. And don't book them, don't do programs with them. It was very. And people, all that was required, she's been to Israel. She put Israel in her book. She wears a Jewish star. I mean, that was never in there. But basically, if you had any hint of support for Zionism, Israel, things like that, it was, it's a, what would you call those lists, Emily? Like blacklists, from the olden
Oh
days when you
yeah.
shouldn't hire communists. So boycott lists. Thank you, Erica.
Okay.
So it's just, yeah, that went around pretty widely in the library world. And of course, you probably never saw it, but we know it's there.
Yeah, no, I never saw that.
Yeah, I've screenshot it. People put it on social media. Susan, I'm sure you're aware of it, right? In the whole book world.
I mean,
Mm,
it was bookstores, it was libraries, it was. I mean, we are regularly seeing Jewish authors canceled from events, asked not to speak. Um, it's it's gotten really intense in the last couple of years. Just I mean, and a bigger thing, right? We're Jewish authors not being able to get published,
yeah.
being turned down again,
True.
again at a higher percentage than anyway.
Mhm.
There's a lot of stuff going on, but yeah, that those blacklists are very scary. And they were everywhere. I saw them everywhere.
You saw them more than that one with the
Oh
multicolored
yeah.
spreadsheet with the pink and the
Mhm.
purple. I mean, they
Yeah.
put a lot of work into that.
Wow.
That one was really extensive, and
Yeah.
but it went all over into. I'm involved with a lot of different spaces like authors and
Mhm.
libraries and publishing, and it went to all those places.
It's very discouraging.
Very.
And so that's part of the thing. We see things that other people who are not perpetrators, but just in the mainstream don't see.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean, I'll see an ad for, soup, Manischewitz soup. Oh, come get your soup. And right below that are comments, are hate speech that talk about Israel. Okay, so if anti-Israel sentiment isn't somehow entangled with anti-Jewish sentiment, then they wouldn't have put that under an ad for soup.
Right.
But it
Right.
is. So that's
Right.
why we know what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting tired of screenshotting ads for soup and jewelry and things like, look at those. Because I'm just showing them to people who've already seen them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
Of
have to
course.
say, we do find the workarounds. And so Sally has a program, and I would say 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we started, when we found out that affiliate presidents could have a program, we started doing programs at ALA Annual. And that was our way to get in the program that we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Because as Susan said, our there it, and no, I'm not, there actually have been Jewish programs. It's not like they've all been rejected. There's
No,
been some great
understood.
ones, but
The
my way of
percentage.
dealing with it is
Mm-hmm.
just work around it and not fight, because I want the programming. They don't need to. If we can get two programs at ALA, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that's when we realized the way to do it is through the Jewish Information Committee and the affiliate presidents program.
Yeah, and Emily has done a great job and figuring out the workarounds. It's just I wish that that wasn't the only avenue. I wish that
Right.
I mean the affiliate programs I think is great. I just like to also just be in the regular program too. But I'm so glad Emily has found a way, and Sally they've found a way to do programs. So there is Jewish programming, but
Mm-hmm.
it's usually one, and then if we 1 to 2. But
Well, I
Well,
know
I'm glad you
Sally's got
found
a
that. I'm glad you found that way.
right.
That's usually what happens, trying to find a workaround for things. So
Yeah,
that
it's working
and
through
usually,
the
yeah,
bureaucrocy of ALA can
Yeah.
yep.
might
That
be.
and usually co-sponsoring.
Yeah. But the saddest thing is that we have to resort to workarounds because I would think that all members of ALA are interested in getting good books in the hands of people. That is why we became librarians.
Yeah.
And good books expose you to other points of view. And if you're excluding them, there is no way you're ever going to find out that our children's books are promoting good values. It doesn't matter what ethnic, religious, color, whatever. It's a good children's book promoting good values. And if we have to do workarounds to get these books in front of people, we're not ever going to be able to get out of this hole.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, what we would want is exposure beyond
Right. Not preaching to the
our
choir.
group. Yeah.
And I
Mm-hmm.
have a hard time convincing Jewish people to be in ALA. You know, first of all, it's expensive. We all know that.
Oh,
And
yes.
time
Yes.
consuming.
That's usually, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would not because not this is not a Jewish question, but I noticed you mentioned fiscal responsibility, which is something I'm really into. Yay, fiscal responsibility. And I know a lot of people don't like the idea of small sizing, the organization. I actually think that's a great idea to reduce. It just seems so sprawling. And
Mm-hmm.
I personally wouldn't be insulted if one of my roundtables got merged with another or something, but I know people are really, really committed to things not
Yes.
changing. And I just wanted to ask you how you felt about that.
You are so right as far as committed, strongly committed, which I think it's hard because we can't have it both ways.
Right?
And I think that's been the challenge that because we didn't just get into this financial thing overnight, right? It's
No.
been going, yes. Um, but what I don't think we've done a good job with, or could have done a better job with, is explaining that to people. And so in their minds, I have found in speaking with people, it's like all of a sudden. And so now you want to take, you know, the one thing that keeps me connected to ALA away. And that's not really the plan. The plan is we want to have an ALA for you to still be connected to. And so we have to change and adapt. And so and and the conversations have gone, but I know even with like how I was speaking with, there's a group that does conferencing for PLA and a group that does conferencing for ACRL and ALA, and that's a lot of
Yeah.
overlap.
For AASL, they
Right.
all have their own.
They all have their own.
And then they complain that there's not as many people going to ALA, but those PLA members who are going next month are not gonna go to ALA because it's expensive to go to two a year.
Yes. And then and two, like relatively back to back. If
And
you're
pretty similar, right?
if you're taking time away from, work and things like that, and everybody doesn't have the privilege of like their jobs just letting them go. I know some people have to take their own time to go to conferences and things like that. And so you would potentially be asking someone to do all of their personal time at two conferences. And so that's not going to work. So I just and it's hard because people like what they like and change is hard and it takes longer for some to come
I'm all
over.
on board with change because it needs it so
It
bad.
needs it tremendously. And so I feel like through this process of changing, and part of some of the things, like even with the ALA presidents now, in the past, each president had their own kind of initiative, and there was a budget for that.
Yeah.
That's no longer taking place, which I knew, and speaking with people didn't know that. So there will not be a budget for me to then be like transform libraries and all the promotion and things like that. That's not going to happen for either Becky or I.
I mean, I know that's unfortunate, but there were also some times when we saw money being spent in ways we didn't think it should be spent.
Mhm.
Certain documentary, perhaps, you know. And we only have so much money. And it's like we're all living in the same house and nobody's controlling the budget. And one person says, I'm gonna make my own peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. The other person is, we're ordering steak.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And
So
we wonder why at the end of the week we have no more
so
groceries.
hard. It's
Yes. So
I don't really think any one person can fix it, but I really think that we are making the road, we're getting on the road
yes,
of fiscal responsibility.
it's just going to be hard these next few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
I'm
oh,
excited about our treasurer. He is into it. Our budget and review committee's chairperson, um, Ed Garsha. He's very he was
Yeah.
on. I told him I was like, please be chair because we were on executive board together, and I was like, I just remember learning so much from him as far as looking at things differently and the types of questions to
That
ask.
would be the one job I'd never want to have, ALA treasurer.
Mm-mm.
I'd never sleep a minute.
No, no,
Yeah,
especially during these times. So, but yeah, so I'm very appreciative of the two of them, and in looking at things and communicating things out. So, and just trying to, like I said, not spend where we don't need to spend just because we used to do it that way.
exactly.
yeah, I just want to, so yes, I think all of us who have been following ALA for we all are very aware of the financial issues and really I do respect you wanting to go in and challenge that. And I see from your bio, you've been on some budget committees, which is, I think, really helpful. The, while I do completely understand that we need to shrink and I understand the budget, I am a little concerned. I saw a board document that had just dozens of things being sunset and
Mhm.
and I understand they can't all stay and I understand we have to combine things. My group is AUSC, and there's just so many awards and committees and roundtables that are being done
Mhm.
away with. And I'm not saying this one thing, and so when it's just page after page of things, it is upsetting. And
Mhm.
um and I really want to make sure it's being done with a scalpel and with all membership feedback, because there are things that are really important. Again, it's not just one thing, it's so much. And so that is kind of, I understand it has to be done, but I wish we, I don't know. It's hard being on the other side of it. All these committees that I've worked with, and they're all going away. And it's really, they all had crucial roles. So
Mhm. Mhm.
it's very hard. I do understand the other side of it, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
But being on the other side and the impact that it has on, yeah, on what your professional commitment has been and where you've kind of felt, you belonged.
Well, I mean, there were a point to all these committees. I mean, yes, I understand, like, if you have programming here and here and here, you can combine
Mhm.
them. I appreciate that. But the committees did exist for points, and like they were founded for a reason. And to see so many of them going away is,
Mhm.
um, I don't know. It's tough. Right, there's a committee on committees. I mean, yes, it's just, yes, I mean, I understand the other way argument. I'm just concerned about the number of things.
Mhm.
It's really a lot.
So, I don't know. I have no idea what specifically you're talking about.
Oh,
I
I
do
mean, I
know
can.
that every unit, every division, every roundtable participated in an organization-wide review with a structure and explanations and instructions. And I know I had to do this because I'm chair of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee on Core, so I had to do
Mhm.
it. Everything I do in ALA is diversity. Um,
Imagine
and
that, Emily.
yeah, Committee on Diversity, affiliates, right, everything. And I just want to say, Susan, you may not have been involved in it, but somewhere along the line, those folks, ALSC folks, had to fill out the forms and made those decisions. So if there are issues, you need to go to your ALSC leadership and say, this is what we do and this is why it's important.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I do know that, and I know it was done carefully. It's just,
I'm just saying it was a scalpel. I mean, people were really careful.
no,
So my involvement in core, as not surprising to you, is cataloging for children, and that's gone. But they couldn't keep it just for the few of us that were interested in this topic. They just can't afford it anymore.
no, I do get that, and I know who came up with the list. It's just, um, and I know we have to change, but it is hard to watch.
It's good. Yeah.
Uh, so much, and I'm not saying that it wasn't suggested by House members and that there wasn't a reason for it. It's just a lot. It's a lot.
So you're
Mhm.
a writer, you know that expression, murder your darlings, we're
It seems
trying,
like
it's like
it's just
you
a
have to
blurry
get rid of
percentage.
something you love to get
Yeah,
something great.
but it's like 20 things. I mean, again, it's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yes, it's true across the organization. Rubric, that's the word I want. There was a rubric. And Tamika no, I'm sure knows way more about it than I do. I just know about it in my little being on the executive board for CORE.
Yeah. And I know people felt the same way about like the awards and things
Right.
that,
Right.
yeah.
There's supposed to be a diversity in cataloging award that we've been told we can't do.
Mm-hmm.
All awards have been pulled back because they cost more than the money that we bring in. It's
Bring
very
in.
expensive to give
And
awards.
staff time, we have to
That's
respect
what,
staff
yes,
time.
that's why. So I asked the executive director of CORE, this is how much these organizations have to raise to pay you to take care of the administration of this award, does it cover it? And she said no. And then I shut up because we can't be working at a deficit. We have to raise more money than it costs us
Yeah.
to administer the award.
Which is a real challenge.
Right.
It
And I
is a
know
real
that staff,
Because I love to celebrate people. Like that's my love language. I want to recognize what people are doing and celebrate that. And then to see the number of awards that we have to pull back on, yeah, it's definitely disheartening.
And maybe one day this organization will turn around, and start building again. But I believe it has to be a professional organization and not like nobody cares what the dentists think about anything. And they just have their dental organization and they don't have to go waving a flag and saying, I care about, somebody got bad dental care in Afghanistan. It's like, let's just be the American Professional Libraries Organization.
Yes.
That's me, but I mean, I'm not running for any position, so
Well,
I'm just talking.
I am older than all of you, I think, and I've been around. I think this makes 50 years. And I remember when ALA came out against the Vietnam War, and they lost a lot of respect in the United States for that. And then I was there and actually voted against whatever the resolution was about South Africa, and I got pummeled. And I said, there are better ways to do this, and nobody's going to listen to ALA. Let's work with people in South Africa to make the change, and not just some resolution that goes somewhere and doesn't go anywhere. But it was a very tough meeting that I stood up and voted against.
Wow.
And then, of course, in council, I have to talk about every anti-Israel resolution. So I've been in this a long time, and Sally is right, and I say this all the time. And it's in all of my statements about running for council is we need to focus on libraries or people aren't going to pay attention to the stuff that's really important to us, like funding,
I was going to say
censorship,
funding. Yeah.
IMLS,
Yes.
right, book banning,
I
school
agree.
library closures, all of those things. That's what we need to focus.
That's
And
what
I know that the executive board is doing that. We've changed so much in the way we speak about things, and then this stuff comes up that dilutes the stuff that we need the United States to hear about that make a difference to our profession, and
Yeah.
not other things that have nothing to do with libraries.
Mhm.
Oh, well.
I agree.
We're all preaching to the choir in this tiny room.
Yes.
No, but it's good to hear. It reinvigorates me.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
this gets posted worldwide, we'll have to see what people say.
There are at least three of us who want to cut budget spending that's above what we bring in. So
Yes.
I'm sure it's
I
going to
want to
happen.
cut the budget. I want to cut the budget. I'm not.
You're
Thank
just
you.
yes.
Okay, 4.
I understand, Susan. I understand.
We're at the top of the hour.
It's just
It-
hard to watch the budget being cut. I
Yes.
do.
Yes.
So
I
hard.
appreciate that. Yeah.
So
So-
while we speak about cutting, we are at the hour mark.
Okay.
Thank you, Tamika, for
Alrighty.
joining us,
Thank you.
and thank you for this. That you really have facilitated a conversation. We've never had a conversation when we've done these forums. Usually, we ask questions and you answer them, and that's it. But this has really been a lovely conversation. So thank you so much, and thanks
Thank
to
you all.
everybody who attended, and to everybody who watches this video.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate your taking the time to talk with us. It really means a lot. It's really important to us. So we appreciate it.
I appreciate the invitation. So I'm glad we were able to work out a time. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being so
Okay.
easy. Bye.
And I look forward to that
Thank you.
invitation.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.